Profit A students, for today we are continuing topic 14. Today we're going to be looking at linear equations, particularly the slope-intercept form and the point-slope form. We looked at slope-intercept form a little bit in our last video, but we'll just go over it again. So a linear equation in slope-intercept form will be in the form y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. And the y-intercept is where our line crosses the y-axis, or where it intercepts the y-axis. So this is the form that's pretty much the most widely used one. It's the one that's pretty telling about the actual equation, and it's simple enough, right? Okay, so now we're going to go into identifying slope and y-intercept given equations. So we have y equals 2x plus 4. This is already in slope-intercept form, so I can very easily identify my slope 2 and my y-intercept 4, right? So let me just note this down. So the slope is 2. The y-intercept, is 4, positive 4. Looking now at the second one, 2y is equal to 6x minus 4. You'll notice this is not in slope-intercept form. It's almost, but I have that coefficient of y. I want y to be by itself, so what I'm going to do is make this so that y is a function of x by isolating y. So all I have to do is divide everything by positive 2. That would give me y is equal to 3x minus 7 if I divided everything by 2. And then here I can very quickly again identify my slope and y-intercept. And now my y-intercept is going to be negative. So my slope is 3, y-intercept is going to be negative 7. Looking now at our last one, there's a little bit more work, but I'm just going to do the same thing. Put it in slope-intercept form by isolating y. So I'm going to move that 4x. I have 12y is equal to negative 4x plus 48. Dividing by 12, y is equal to negative 4 over 12 x plus 48 divided by 12, which is 4. I'll have to simplify this. Negative 4 over 12 is the same as negative 1/3. Okay, so my slope is going to be negative 1 over 3. My y-intercept is positive 4. So as you can see, this is probably one of the easiest problems in your test. Pretty fun. We're looking at a new form now, point-slope form. So equations in point-slope form follow this format. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So again, we have m. So m is going to be our slope. Again, and then for this one, I have y1 and x1, right? So that actually corresponds to a point on the line, where we have point x1, y1 is a point on the line. Okay, so you'll notice that a point-slope form tells you a point and a slope. The slope-intercept form tells you the intercept and the slope. So find the equation of the line through 10, 7 with slope 1/2. So I'm just going to set it up using this. So we have x1, y1. That's going to be 10, 7. Where 10 is x1 and our y1 is 7. And our slope is going to be 1/2. So we're going to just plug it in here. The only ones that change are the x1, y1, and the m. So y minus y1, which is 7, is equal to m, our slope, 1/2, times x minus x1, which is 10. And just be careful with this, because if you're subtracting a negative number, it'll turn to positive. Okay, so looking at this next one, find the slope-intercept form of the line through 10, 7 with slope 1/2. So you notice this is almost exactly the same, except now it's telling me that it wants the slope-intercept form of this line. So I have the same points, it's the same line, but now I just want my equation in a different form. So what I'm going to do this, whenever we say put something in slope-intercept form, it just means isolate y. So I want it to be y equals mx plus b. So I want to isolate y, but I also want to distribute that 1/2. So I'll start with what I used from the last one. Y minus 7 is equal to 1/2 times x minus 10. I'll start by distributing that 1/2. Y minus 7 is equal to 1/2 x plus, minus 1/2 times negative 10 is going to be negative 5. Okay, now isolating y, I can add this 7 to each side. That will cancel and give me y is equal to 1/2 x plus 2. So this is the same line, but now in slope-intercept form. So you'll notice that I'm given a point and a slope, so I cannot put it automatically into slope-intercept form. What I'm going to do is put it into the form that has the information that what I'm given. So I'm given a point and a slope. So once I see that, I already know I need to put it in point-slope form, and then from there I'll convert it based on what the question's asking, and for the most part they'll just tell you to put it in slope-intercept form. Now we're going to take it one step further from that. Find the equation of the line through 10, 5, and negative 2, 11. So you'll notice now I'm only given 2 points. So there's a slope-intercept form, there's a point and slope form. There is no point form, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my information that's given to be able to find something else that I need. So we're always going to need the slope, right? We're always going to need the slope. It's not given, but I could find the slope based off the 2 points using the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, the rise over run formula. So we have the formula right here. I'll just write it. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And it doesn't matter which point you assign as x1, y1, x2, y2. It doesn't matter which one's which. It'll come out to the same based off of the signs. But just make sure that you keep them together. So this one's going to be, we're going to make this x1, y1, and this one x2, y2. Okay, so we have y2 minus y1. y2 is going to be 11 minus y1 is 5 over x2 minus x1. x2 is negative 2 minus x1, which is 10. Simplifying this, 11 minus 5 is positive 6. Negative 2 minus 10 is negative 12. Simplifies to negative 1/2. Now that I have my slope, negative 1/2, all I have to do is use one of the points, either 10, 5 or negative 2, 11, and then plug it into my point slope form. From here, for me, I'd rather choose 10, 5 just because they're both positive, so I don't need to worry about signs changing. So the original form of the line is going to be y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, right? This is the basic form of point and slope form, something you're going to have to remember. Okay, so I'm going to plug in x1, y1, and m. So y minus, the y is going to be 5, y1 is 5, equals m. Our slope is negative 1/2 times x minus 10. And if they don't specify what form of the equation, then you can just leave it in whatever one that you initially put. So I won't even try to do anything from here because it just says find the equation of the line. In this second question, find the slope-intercept form of this line. Then that's where I'll actually solve for y and put it into the y equals mx plus b form. So I was going to use that one that we just did. Y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/2 times x minus 10. Then from there, I'll just work this by distributing and then solving for y to put it in slope-intercept form. Negative 1/2 times 10, negative 10 is going to be positive 5. Okay, now adding 5 to each side to isolate y. Y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 10. So both of these equations describe the same line, but they're just in two different forms. And just a note, if you had chosen to use negative 2 and 11, it would have given you the same answer for the slope-intercept form. Okay, so now we're going to touch a little bit on graphing linear equations in one variable. And these are linear equations with only an x variable or only a y variable. So these are going to be either vertical or horizontal lines. So we're going to look right now where we have x as our variable. So for me, I asked myself, where is x for? I want to find where is x for. So this is my x-axis, right? X-axis. And I want to look at where x is for. So I know x is 4 right there. Are there any other points where x is 4? Right here, right? X is still 4. So everything along this line, x is 4. So it kind of goes against what our brain tries to go to because our axis is a horizontal. Some people think it's going to be a horizontal line. But no, it's a point on this axis, right? So everything along this line is going to have the value x is equal to 4. And I'll just make that, I'll underline it blue so we know that that's the one. Okay, let's try the next one in maroon. X is equal to 0. I know x is equal to 0 here, here. Everywhere along this line, x is 0. Looking at this last one, x plus 8 is equal to 0. All I'd have to do is isolate x, right? Isolate your variable. So subtracting 8 from each side, I have x is equal to negative 8. So since I'm going to graph this one, I'm going to find where x has a value of negative 8. Finding negative 8 on my x-axis, it's right there. So everything along this vertical line has an x value of negative 8. And just a note, the slope for each of these lines is undefined because our rise over run, right? Slope is rise over run. The run for each of these points is going to be 0, right? Because it doesn't move left or right. So you have an undefined slope, which is the vertical line. Looking now at y is equal to 4. Where's my y value for? I have my y-axis. I'm finding 4 on my y-axis. There's it is. So everywhere along this line has a y value of 4. Where is y 0? This is my y-axis. This is vertical axis. 0 right here in the middle. I know everywhere along this line has a y value of 0. And here I'll have, and finally for the last one, I'll solve for y. Y is equal to, subtracting 8 from each side, negative 8. Everywhere along this line has a y value of negative 8, right? So everywhere on this line has a y value of negative 8. And the slope for each of these lines is 0, right? Because it doesn't move up or down, so it's always 0 divided by however much the run is. So slope is 0 for horizontal lines. Lastly, finding equations of vertical or horizontal lines. It may be helpful to graph it so you could see. Find the equation of the horizontal line through 6, 2. So I'm going to first graph the point 6, 2. X is 6, so I'm moving right 6, up 2. Okay. Horizontal line is going to be like this. Okay, what is the equation for this line? So I know that what remains constant here is my y value, right? So the y value is the same throughout this. I always have a y value of positive 2. So it's going to be y is equal to positive 2. Looking at this next one, I'll use blue for it. Find the equation of the vertical line through negative 4, negative 8. Graphing negative 4, negative 8. Negative 4 on my x-axis is going to be left 4, down 8. So we have this. a vertical line. I know it goes straight up and down. What remains constant in this? My x value is the same throughout this. I have an x value of -4. So this is going to be x is equal to -4. That is it for this video. I hope you all have a good day.